Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video we are touching upon the T4s of one of the most interesting, maybe not interesting, but surprising, maybe surprising, ward defenses that have come along in a while. And by surprising I mean, at first when you saw this you're like, at least me, I was like, I'm not surprised, I don't think these guys are gonna be good. And then I was like, no, if you have a big Merc Riot guard, you're gonna be pretty good. And then, again, we're only a couple wars in, but these mercenaries on ward defense, they are kind of annoying. Especially with some non-stop healing, some non-stop assisting, some non-stop taunting, some non-stop deflecting, some non-stop passive assisting. And that's just 4 of the characters that are on that team. So, yeah, oh yeah, and energy generation. So, yeah, they didn't change a lot with this team, but they added a Taskmaster and changed just enough to be like, this is kind of annoying. So, as always, Yeti, Punk, and myself kind of worked on some T4s, so I'll show you the graphic here in a bit. You can stare at that graphic for as long as you want, and then I will go into a video that is going to show and illustrate kind of what we've got for each of these abilities. So, let's check out the graphic, and which you can, by the way, find on all of our Discords, which will be linked in the description below. Join all of our Discords. We have this nice web of collaboration between us. And then I'll go through the descriptions of each one in more detail in the video. And I hope you watch that and enjoy that as well. So let's get to it.
Bring me WolverThor!
So, I've got the graphic, let's see, up in this region-ish, over here somewhere, and over there, yeah, that's where it's at, yep, over there, so you looking at it? Yep, no, don't get distracted by the Inhumans and the arena match over there. So yeah, I'm just sitting here hanging out. You should be watching that. You know what? Just come to the Discord, just get the graphic. Punk does amazing work. Check out his Discord, please. You know, check out some of the other stuff he does. You know, as always, Yeti does great work. Good mind in the game, smart kind. Always theory crafting, trying to find ways to improve his play and the play of others. And we try to keep those type of qualities and thoughts, mentalities when we're putting together infographics for anybody who might use them. So we hope they're helping you. Anyway, let me go through all the detail of how we got to where we got to in this infographic. Blitz timer. Okay, so real quickly before we go through all the rankings and comparisons to everything, I want to at least go through the upgrades so that you can see them. I'm going to do this pretty quickly, and I'm going to mention this multiple times, or at least twice, I think, in the video. But we did struggle with who to put on this team at certain points. There are a lot of potential characters. So I mainly stick into the group of 5 and the 2 alternates that we kind of came up with. But there's a good chance we could revisit this team in the near or distant future, depending how things shake out. So anyway, the actual upgrades. Taskmasters Basic here. And by the way, if you don't have the Ultron bot, you should get it. It's pretty dope. Attack primary target for an additional 50% damage. It still steals the 3 positive effects. Taskmaster Special. Attack primary target for an additional 50% damage plus apply stun. Rebound chain to 3 additional targets for an additional 50% damage plus apply offense down. Counterattack breaks that chain. Ultimate Taskmaster, attack all enemies for an additional 40% damage, apply blind to primary target, and instead of 1, 2 random secondary targets, apply bleed for 2 turns to not 3 but all enemies. So up from 3, all enemies. That's huge. That's awesome. Bonus attack all targets with bleed for an additional 20% piercing for 100% piercing. And remember, instead of 3 enemies, you're putting that on all. Taskmaster's Passive. Deep breath on this one. Deep breath. On spawn, gain offense up for 2 turns. It stays the same. An additional 40% chance to gain, so 100% chance to gain assist now on each mercenary villain ally's turn. That's the winner of this one. Dope. So make sure to understand that. Guaranteed chance to assist now on each mercenary villain ally's turn. So you want Merc villains on this dude's team. Gain additional 10% block chance. You already keep the 25% block amount. Gain additional 10% chance to counterattack, plus an additional 10% chance per Merc ally. Gain 10% damage per skill enemy, which is already, there's no upgrade there. Gain additional 5% damage. Merc villain allies also gain additional 5% damage. On war defense, nothing changes here. He still does his spawn fill speed bar, so I'm not gonna go through that because it is what it is. It's just his ability. For the Merc Riot Guard, so his basic upgrades an additional 40% damage to primary target. The special gain, this one's kind of goofy. So you gain defense up on self for instead of 2 turns, 3 turns. But he's using this every other turn basically anyway, so it doesn't make any sense to me at all. The upgrade in the passive for the Merc Riot Guard, gain an additional 5% block chance. On war defense, you are guaranteed a chance to apply 1 deflect up to, actually, and this now should say on enemy turn. On enemy turn, not on turn, on enemy's turn. A guaranteed chance to apply plus 1 deflect up to a maximum of 4 to adjacent allies. Basic for the Merc Lieutenant. Gain additional 50% damage to your primary target. Grant 1 ability energy to 1 random ally. And grant 1 ability energy to all mercenary villain allies. I wonder if that's going to always guarantee so someone gets 2. That's interesting. There's some RNG in that. Pay attention to that one. Special for the Lieutenant, apply offense up to all allies for 1 turn as opposed to 4. So now it's guaranteeing everyone gets that offense up. Apply speed up to all enemy or all allies for 1 turn as well. So that's pretty dope ability that's gonna basically be casted every other turn. His passive, on turn there's a 40% chance to heal, so an increase of 10%. The most injured ally for an additional 5%, so 25% of this character's max health. When a Merc ally drops below 50% health, fill the speed bar by an additional 15%. That's a big jump there. I like this one because of that jump. So it's basically making sure that this character goes more, which you really want. On war defense, when an enemy attacks an adjacent ally, heal most injured Merc ally for an additional 500 health. That part of it, honestly, is trash. If they give an additional percentage to the max health heal there too, that'd be nice, but they don't. So it might be too OP if they did. All right, next up, the basic for Bullseye. Attack primary target for an additional 30% damage. This attack cannot miss. Gain an additional 5% crit for a total 20% crit chance for this attack. The special for Bullseye. Gain an additional 30% damage to a primary target, and again, an additional 5% crit chance for this attack. His ultimate, gain an additional 50% attack to primary target, and that's it, just damage increase. Passive for Bullseye. Wah, wah. All other allies gain additional 5% accuracy. So, it's a total of 10%. Yay. It's kind of like, meh. I don't know. I'm just not that excited about it. Merck Sniper. All right, so this was the last guy that we thought would technically be on the team, but there's plenty of others you could fill in. His basic, an additional 5% piercing. That's it. His special, an additional 90% damage to primary target plus an additional 10% piercing. It's a pretty big jump. Do the stats meet that jump? Is it a big, highly ranked upgrade? Passive Merc Sniper, additional 5% piercing. Okay. Korath was one of the ones we thought could be on this team, so I'll go through him. His basic, attack primary target for an additional 10% piercing. And you're guaranteed the chance to apply slow for 1 turn, but in reality, you're already doing 90%, so anyway. His special, attack primary target for an additional 60% damage. Everything else still is the same. Korath's ultimate, attack primary target for an additional 120% damage. It's one of the biggest percent jumps in the game. Does the power jump match it? We'll see. Nothing else changes. Passive for Korath. On enemy death, gain speed up for 2 turns instead of 1. On spawn, gain speed up for 2 turns instead of 1. Basic for Killmonger. Killmonger's the other one we thought could potentially be on this team. Why? Because he's a villain mercenary. Attack primary target for an additional 40% damage, plus gain an additional 10% drain, so 30% drain. On crit bonus attack, not 1 to 2 times, but a guaranteed 2 times for an additional 40% damage, so for 240 damage and an additional 10% drain. So it's more damage and more drain and a guaranteed double attack on that bonus attack. Special Killmonger. Attack primary target for an additional 40% damage 3 times. On crit, gain offense up and lose charged. Otherwise, gain one charged up to a maximum of 5. Ultimate. Attack primary target for additional 30% damage. Chain instead of 5 to all. This is silly to me. If you're already chaining to 5 people, is there really an all that you really need? This was made for raids, but anyway. For an additional 30% damage, so 240 damage. On crit, attack all enemies for an additional 30% damage for 200 total percent damage and lose charge. That's when he throws that disc. So that disc damage goes up by, 25%. Passive Killmonger. On defense up, attack the most injured ally for an additional 70% damage. And that's it. That's the only upgrade that you get from the T4. But on a team like this, that comes into play a lot, which I'll talk about when we go over the abilities. So that's it. So let's check out those comparisons. Okay, so this team, I'll say, probably gave us the biggest headache as far as who to put on the team. Because only a few of the Mercs got reworked, and they left off other ones, and there's other villain mercenaries in the game that are kind of part of other teams or just sometimes random, or they're part of teams that are not good. We really just struggled with, and there's some characters in the game that were like, you could put that character on this team and they might be good too. So that we probably spent more time discussing that for a while than anything else. So what we came to is, let's just put the main mercenaries in here that got the reworks, that are kind of your minions, so to speak, plus Bullseye and Taskmaster, and cover a couple other ones with T4s that we think people might want to use. So the two that kind of got left off the team that are very deserving and could be on this team are Killmonger and Korath. So we had a few of their abilities. I'm not really going to go over these because we didn't think they were necessarily worthy of T4ing. That's the blue's got T4s to spare, and the green is nothing else to use them on. So again, not really going to cover that in a lot of depth. But Killmonger's special, his ultimate, his basic, we don't think those are worthwhile. And then Korath passive and basic also, we're just going, Those don't necessarily spend T4s on those if you've got them on the team for this specific team. And when you see these numbers on here, that is a damage ranking that I do. I've got a monster spreadsheet where any T4 I do kind of a bang for your buck. So that means that for damage specific abilities, I rank all of them based on how much that T4 increases the damage of that specific ability by. So while someone might get 20% if they have a really high base damage, that might be better than someone who gets 100% increase with a low base damage. So I rank all of those. I also like to put primary and adjacent all in there so that, because that variable is so, it's hard to determine basically. I focused on just if you were hitting a primary target. So when you see a 90, but it says all, it's like, well, it's really better than that because it's hitting everybody. So anyway, now that we've got past that, let's go to the bottom of the list and work our way up. Now, you might, for anyone who's been here before, you might be like, wait a minute, why do you have the orange and red, the essential and the really good at the bottom here? It's because it's Korath and Killmonger. Because we're not sure that you're going to use them on your team, we've got these at the bottom with a big asterisk and in bold letters that says if you're using this character. So Korath's ultimate comes in as kind of the first alternate, number 1, or in the overall 18th slot. Korath's ultimate, my specific notes on this, it's huge damage increase and likely to be used before anyone else. Yeti's got at the same spot. He's also got Korath ultimate. His comment is, the damage increase, I believe, is one of the highest in the game and allows Korath to really put the hurt out quickly. We're on the same page there. The next ultimate ranking here that we would consider essential if you're using them is Killmonger's passive. We both have it at that same spot. And before I get to that one, the Korath's damage increase is number 8 in the entire game. For a long time, this used to be the number 1 damage in the game. Forever. And then slowly the power creep kind of pushed him down. So, and he's still in the top 10, which is pretty impressive. So to Killmonger's passive. If you're using this character, my comment is really nice damage increase given that he will be getting defense up every turn. And if you're not familiar with his passive, basically anytime he gets defense defense down put on him, he's going to attack I think it's the opponent with the lowest health. And given that the Merc Riot Guard is going to be taunting almost every other turn, and when he does that, he gives defense up to the entire team, Killmonger is going to be using this passive non-stop. So this is a huge increase to that. It's the 29th ranked increase in the game. That's super impressive. Yeti's comment here, while I'm not a big fan of breaking up the Wakandans right now, and I agree with that, this ability really allows Killmonger to prey upon people and exploit their injured state. Yeah, if you've got a high Killmonger and you play with him on this team, you absolutely have to have this passive. The last one we got in the alternate group, we both have Korath special. This damage comes in ranked 51. I've just wrote it's a pretty solid damage increase here. Yeti's comment is a nice damage increase for a primary damage dealer for 60% increase. Not really much more to add. Then we have a group here of all, and the gray is just don't, okay? And one of the funny things when Yeti and I were doing this, we were basically even on every single ability. I think we eventually had a couple different, especially with different colors and classifications, but we were almost on the exact same page to the point where I think he made a comment. He was like, this is kind of gross. He's like, well, how are we exactly the same? So anyway, so the ones that you don't want to touch, the lowest on the list, Merck Sniper's Passive. A 5% increase to piercing, I say it's not worth it. Yeti's comment is simple 5% increase in piercing, a nice mathematical upgrade, but it's not worth the T4. Next up, Merc Sniper Basic. We both agree at the same spot. I've got the same comment of 5% piercing is not worth. He's got his same comment that 5% increase to piercing is nice mathematical upgrade, but not worth a T4. Next up, for also a just don't, Merc Riot Guard Special. My comment here is, already has defense up for 2 turns and will taunt every other turn. So therefore you don't need this T4 upgrade. And what this T4 does is gives you a defense up for a 3rd turn. So this T4 makes 0 sense. I think they should rework this ability, honestly, to be, if you T4, I don't know, you get a self-heal and an additional deflect, or I don't know, something other than this, because the defense up is literally pointless. Let's see. I also mentioned in my comment here maybe an immunity. Yeti's comment: when you have a character that can taunt and gain 3 stacks of defense up every other turn, it makes you wonder. I like tanks who can taunt often and provide themselves defense up regularly, but this D4 upgrade does not make sense. He and I are on the exact same page there. Bullseye's passive. 5% accuracy increase is very bad, is my comment. His comment is, if this was an increase in focus for allies, I've been excited, but otherwise it's a very menial upgrade. So we're on the same page there. It's just not that exciting. Next up, coming in at the 13th spot in the green category, which is nothing else to use them on, we've got Bullseye's Basic. This comes in ranked at the 172 ranked damage in the game, which is not very high. My comment is okay damage increase with a little more crit. His comment, Yeti's comment, is for a dedicated damage dealer, I expected a bit more from this ability. But the cumulative of both attacks does stack up nicely with the 30% damage increase and the 5% increase. Coming in at number 12, we both have Bullseye Special, which is ranked 179 in the damage rankings. My comment is the same, okay damage increase with a little more crit. He's got his same comment talking about expecting a little bit more from the ability. But nice with a 30% damage increase and 5% crit chance. Next up is Merc Riot Guard Basic. This is ranked 153rd in the damage rankings. We're both again at the same spot for this 11th ranked T4. My comment is just a damage increase, nothing crazy. Yeti's comment is the 40% increase for a taunting protector is nice, but I would have really expected some level of utility upgrade for a T4 or a positive effect. I agree. I mean, it's just not that exciting. Taskmaster Basic. This is 100. It comes in ranked at 121. And this is the 10th ranked ability T4 upgrade in this group. We're again both in the same group. The only difference we have here is he's got T4's to spare. I've got my rating is just below that at nothing else to use them on. My comments similar to Merc Riot Guard Basic, not just damage increase, nothing crazy. Yeti's comment here is a really simple damage upgrade of 50%, which for a dedicated damage dealer is acceptable. Next up at number 9, I've got Taskmaster Special, so does Yeti. We have the different classification between them. This is where you start seeing us be different, but it's, again, just the classification, which they're basically the same at this point. They're all kind of like low-hanging fruit items. This comes in ranked at the 122nd ranked damage in the game. It's primary and a chain. My comment, again, is just a damage increase, but to additional targets, nothing crazy. Yeti's comment is really simple damage upgrade of 50% increase to primary and secondary targets, which for a dedicated damage dealer is acceptable. At number 8, Bullseye's ultimate. This comes in ranked at number 62. This can be a hard-hitting ability, depending what turn he gets it on. I think it used to be like 4 or something. I think you could potentially get it at 2 or 3 here. And my comment, and actually I've got this ranked at the blue where it's got T4s to spare. Yeti does have this as a solid upgrade. My comment is good damage increase, and with a Merc Lieutenant energy can use, I've got it as turn 3, but I'm not 100% convinced of that. I thought I had him pull this off with turn 2 if he gets the energy from the special as well. So I could be wrong there. Just comment below and tell me how wrong I am. That's actually what I'd prefer, because I got to get that right. Yeti's comment is really simple damage, upgrade of 50%, which for a dedicated damage dealer is acceptable. Coming in at number 7, coming in hot, Taskmaster Ultimate. This hits all. Again, I mentioned before that sometimes these rankings are a little skewed because it's hard for that variable. How many alls? Is there 2s or 3s or 5s or 10? So 158 damage ranking. Again, we both agree at number 7. I've got it as a solid. He's got it as a really good upgrade. My comment is applying bleeds to all enemies up from 3 and adding 1 blind for a total of 3 is a really nice ultimate. Plus, it adds some decent damage. The part that will go unnoticed is the added piercing, and he will now do that to all enemies because they all get bleed. This ability really, you really got to look at it. I mean, he's hitting, bleeding, blinding, and then doing a passive attack with everybody's got bleeds, with piercing on it. It's a really nice ability. I think Yeti ranking it at this really good, or ranking is good, and you'll see in the graphic that it's actually orange. So his comment is, the damage increase is a decent bump of 40%, but applying bleed to primary and 2 additional secondary targets is really good. Bleeds are always a welcome addition with strong characters like Taskmaster, but the really nice added bonus for this ability is the 20% piercing to all targets with bleed. Covered that. We're on the same page there. It is a really, really nice ability there. All right, coming in at 6. We're on the same page again with our colors. It is Merc Lieutenant's Passive. This is all about getting that speed bar filled to take more turns for energy and heals and buffs. An additional 15% speed bar is sexy, plus a 10% better chance to heal more. So getting him to go more and a better chance to heal, it's kind of nice. Yeti's comment here is, this passive increasing the 40% chance to heal an ally for 25% of the mercenary lieutenant's health is really good. The speed bar fill is going to be hard to overcome for most attackers. The constant healing per turn is nice and not really overly strong. All right, so coming in number 5, Merck Sniper Special. Again, that's if you're he's the other one that we were kind of wavering back and forth, but we decided at the end of the day, let's just leave the basic minions in this team. We've got him at 5. That's mainly because this comes in at the 9th ranked damage increase in the game. 9. That is crazy for a minion. Okay, so, and it's a low cooldown. I think it's 2 or 3. So you're using this non-stop, giving all the energy. It's like pew, pew, pew. And remember, you got your Merc Riot Guard just chilling there taunting non-stop. So this Merc Sniper is legit sniping people. And if he's not, guess who's, raining on everyone? Is Taskmaster and Bullseye. So Merc Sniper could be really nice in this setup. Especially if you have 7 red stars like mine, but I don't have a big Merc Riot Guard, so I'm not going crazy. Anyway, my thoughts or my comments on this specific ability. Huge damage increase on a short cooldown with energy feeds and a taunting protector. This becomes essential to me if you have high reds, like I mentioned. Yeti's comment, increasing damage by 90% and piercing by 10% doesn't always sound particularly special, but Merc Sniper is going to hit hard with this upgrade. Next up at number 4, Merc Riot Guard Passive. We both agree, and we both agree that it's a really good ability. And the comment here is, for myself, is 5% block chance increase isn't bad on its own, but the guaranteed deflects on each enemy turn. And this was just recently changed. You get deflects on your adjacents for each enemy turn. So anytime somebody's going to go, this dude is putting deflects on these people. So it helps take away damage. It's amazing. You could almost consider this essential. If you're really investing in this team, I highly recommend this. Especially considering you want him next to Merc Lieutenant, and those deflects help him live to help others heal. Could be essential, to be honest. Clearly, I thought that the other day when I wrote that as well. Yeti's comment, the 5% increased block chance is noticeable, especially as he already blocks a lot, especially on war defense, but applying 1 turn of deflect to adjacent allies is really strong. Coming in at number 3, the Merc Lieutenant's Basic. This is not for the damage, but the damage increase ranking here, or the damage ranking increase is 140, the primary target. The comment I've got here is this team works because of the non-stop taunts with MRG, Merc Riot Guard, and this energy is needed to pull that off. Yeti's comment, the damage increase is a nice 50% bump, but the energy grant to all mercenary villain allies is what justifies the high ranking for this ability upgrade. Agreed. Just that's why it's there. It's like more energy, more energy, more energy, more taunting, more taunting, more taunting. It's what you want. Merc Lieutenant Special comes in at number 2. Again, both Yeti and I agree, and we both consider this essential, along with the Merc Lieutenant Basic. My comment is, starts with this move for speed up and offense to all. This is your first move, everybody speeds up, and everybody gets their offense up. That's what you want. You want this team going non-stop. And with offense up, baller. Yeti's comment, providing speed up and offense up to all allies is truly a great ability, especially when combined with being able to use this ability every other turn. So true. Offense up, speed up all the time for everybody. All right, and coming at number 1, at no surprise, is Taskmaster's Passive. This ability is the Miss Marvel of the group plus some. My comment is the jack of all trades in this passive is no different. The guaranteed assist is the main reason to do this, so the added block, damage, and counterattacks are icing on the cake. Like I said, the non-stop assists with this, and as fast as everyone's going, it's key. Yeti's comment here. This is the ability that allows the mercenary team to be formidable. A true treasure box collection of modifiers. Provides assist now each turn of each mercenary ally's turn. This is significant. The block chance is a nice increase. The counterattack percentage gains depending on how many skill allies are present, but also provides additional damage for the Merc villain allies. So that's what we got. So these top 3 are all essential. If you're really heavily invested in this team, I absolutely recommend this Merc Riot Guard passive as well. And if you've got the Sniper on there with high reds, I would probably do that one as well. That team is going to be hard to get through. If you got high reds on Merc Riot Guard, on the Merc Lieutenant, and even 3 to 4s on the rest, you're probably going to wreak a lot of havoc on a lot of teams. So anyway, hope these rankings help you guys. Let us know your thoughts below. As I mentioned before, the infographics are going to be on all of our Discords. Punk, Yeti, myself. The links to all those Discords are going to be in the description below. Come say hi, chat with us. Tell us what you think of these rankings. Would you have done something different? Do you think we have something in the wrong spot? Did we miss something obvious? Let us know. We love chatting. We love theory crafting. We try to talk with everybody as much as we can, obviously with depending what's going on with, work, life, family, all that kind of stuff. But so thanks for stopping by. Hammer down on that like button. Click the notification bell, the subscription button, all the goodness. Share with your alliance mates, your grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, all those people who bring joy to your life. And as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and hope you have a wonderful day.